All right, welcome back. Breaking tonight, Missouri couple Mark and Patricia McCloskeys. Remember, they were defending their home against violent protesters. They've now been charged with felony unlawful use of a weapon by Democratic Circuit Attorney Kim Gardner. Well, I recently sat down with the McCloskeys for their side of the story, just to remind you.
It was shocking. I mean, the gate came in. Seemingly everybody in the world came forward. Literally, I think the estimate is 300 to 500 people came right towards us. We were preparing to have dinner on the porch, and we were literally maybe 70 feet from the gate. By the time we got our guns, by the time I got my gun, the crowd was maybe 30 or 40 feet from us.
All right, Missouri Governor Mike Parson believes the McCloskeys, quote, did what they legally should do to protect themselves. So will he pardon the McCloskeys? The governor of Missouri joins us now. Governor, good to see you, sir. Thank you for being with us. By the way, you have 22 years in law enforcement. Is that correct, sir?
That's right, Sean. I have.
Thank you for your service, protecting and serving. It's an honorable profession. The 99% that put their lives on the line deserve our heartfelt appreciation. There were no police this night. The gate was broken down. The McCloskeys described in detail specific threats made against them. They were protecting their home and their property. They've now already gone in and taken their weapons away, and now they're going to charge them. Will you pardon them?
Without a doubt, Sean. I'll do everything within the Constitution of the state of Missouri to protect law-abiding citizens. And those people are exactly that. They're law-abiding citizens, and they're being attacked, frankly, by a political process that's really unfortunate. It's a sad day for us here in Missouri. They had every right to protect their property, their home, just like any of us would. And if you had a mob coming towards us, whether they tore down a gate or not, when they come on your property, they don't have a right to do that in an aggressive manner. And people have a right to protect themselves, their families, and their property. That's the Castle Doctrine in the state of Missouri. And this is why this is such an unfortunate case. The prosecutor we're talking about.
Yeah, go ahead,
yeah,
sir.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
The prosecutor in St. Louis, I think it's important to realize we've had 135 homicides in St. Louis since the first of the year. Of that, she's filed 30 cases out of 135, around 20%, and says she doesn't have the time, she doesn't have the resources, and yet you go out here and charge innocent citizens, private citizens that are law-abiding citizens that haven't violated the law. You charge people like that. I mean, it just defies common sense of why any elected official would do such a thing.
When you combine your experience in law enforcement, and you mentioned the Castle Doctrine, and I'll cite Missouri law that you, by the way, Missouri, and I had cousins from there, Missouri. That was a big argument in my family, but you can use physical force to stop stealing, property damage, or tampering in any degree. There were no police there, Governor, that night. The gate was broken down. The family described in specificity and detail, that's going to be my room, and we're going to kill your animals, and, you know, very threatening. The weapons were legal. I don't know what people are supposed to do under those circumstances. We see this now happening around the country. My question to you as a governor, why do these governors in, for example, Portland, and the governor of Oregon, the mayor of Portland, the mayor of Chicago, governor of Chicago, New York's mayor and governor, the president keeps offering help to restore law and order. People are dying. Cops are, 1,300 cops hurt. Why would they reject that opportunity to be helped?
Yeah, because they have a total socialist agenda. What they're trying to do is why they're not doing that. I mean, the President of the United States reached out to me a week ago and says, hey, Governor, how can I help you, and what fashions can I help? And we had a great conversation. He sent over 200 FBI agents to the state of Missouri to help us with some of the violent crime problems we have. Defunding the police, getting rid of police is just the opposite we need to be doing. Is we need to be backing up our men and women that are out there sacrifice their lives every day. We need to put more officers on the ground to attack violent criminals in the state. And we can see these, quote, peaceful protesters, they quote to be, but we know there's violence behind them. We know there's people involved in crime almost everywhere we see a protest. And we got to stand up for that. And the president's trying to do that. We governors that understand how important it is, me personally, because I've spent law enforcement for 22 years, I'm going to step up. I'm going to stand up for these men and women every day that risk their lives for me and all the other Missouri citizens.
And that, when I was going after the deep state and those that abused their power, I always made a distinction. The 99%, that's that button. Last question. I had a source telling me that when the protesters went back to the McCloskeys' home, that there was no local police present, but the president had sent in some support. Is there any truth to that?
Well, I think the president, the conversation I had with him last week was really about what do we do if they do file charges? What do we do with this rogue prosecutor? I think that was a conversation I had last week. I think the resources are there to help the McCloskeys or anybody else in the state of Missouri. It was unfortunate the way that all unfolded, but here's the one thing I just want to make sure everybody knows. They had every right to do that under the law of Missouri, under the Constitution, and frankly of the United States. They had every right to protect themselves and their property and their families, whatever that might be. And again, you just got a mob mentality out there night after night going across this country. And at some point it's got to end. At some point people's got to stand up for the everyday citizens.
Governor, thank you for your service, number one. Serving and protecting, number two. Thank you for standing up for the rule of law, and we appreciate you taking time to explain it to us tonight. Thank you, sir. You're making the right decision.
Keep up the good work.